The big question on everybody's mind is, are we going to buy another boat? Well, we are going to answer that today, along with probably a bunch of other questions that have been floating around in your head.
I guess to not waste any time, let's just answer it. Yes, we are 100% looking for a new boat and 99.9% going to buy a new boat. I'm not going to say 100% because if we don't find the boat,
yeah, until it happens, it's not a done deal. But yes, we are actively looking and shopping, and we have been for
quite some time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and there's two specific types of boats that we're most drawn to at the moment. And should we just start with the first one?
Yeah, well, I guess the thing is because you're either looking for the type of vessel, which then determines the adventure, or we're looking for the adventure, and then you need to find a boat that fits that adventure. And I feel like we've kind of fallen into both categories.
Oh, I feel like we've found the adventure that I think we want to go on, and I think that's higher latitudes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's category one. Okay. Category two, I feel like, is different.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
The whole thing is so complicated. You have to make decisions in life sometimes, and it's really hard. No, so the first category we're looking at is an explorer yacht.
Which we've already talked about, and we've shown a couple.
Yeah, exactly, because we want to do higher latitude sailing or cruising. Alaska, Arctic,
Patagonia, Norway, all that kind of jazz. To get a vessel that goes that direction, it means it can go anywhere. So that's the key. But if we kind of go for the tropical sailing boat, well, that's exactly what it is. You start taking that vessel to places like the Arctic or down to Patagonia.
It's not made for that.
No.
So it's not set up for that.
Exactly.
Like the Windalow that we sailed on is a great boat, but it is amazing for the tropics because all those windows open up and you get all this breeze coming in. But in my mind, I'm like, ooh, Antarctica, that's a lot of condensation. That boat's not designed for all the insulation, and then those windows, you're really gonna ever open them when it's
cold outside?
Cold?
Yeah, it does not mean that you can't take it pretty far. That vessel's very capable. Lots of the catamarans are. But is it the right vessel for that area?
I would say probably not.
Yeah. So that is why we are looking for kind of like a true explorer yacht. They are designed with those latitudes in mind. You'll learn a lot more about it as we learn about it. But anyway, they're designed for that territory. So that is what we are looking for. Could be sailing, could be motor.
Yeah. And mostly we're finding motor vessels, and they're all seem to be located in that Amsterdam, Netherlands sort of area, or Pacific Northwest of America. That's the majority of the ones we're seeing online. And we are definitely going used, because we are not interested in going through the process of building a new boat.
Not right now. We've been through that.
We went through that, and that's just...
It's a long process, and that would take another minimum of a year, and realistically, we all know it will take 2.
And then plus the shakedown and all that, so it could be 3 years before we're cruising. We already did all that. We want to be on the water.
Yeah.
That's what we thought we'd be doing right now, sailing around. But we just want to buy a boat that's ready, as ready as it can be, with minimal upgrades that we need to do, and then we can just start, boom, enjoying it.
And that was sort of our process with our first boat, right? It took us 6-8 months to find Curiosity 1. And so we went through that process. But once we got the boat, we were sort of sailing right away. And then you're making those upgrades to do whatever adventure you have. And we did those. It took a few months, but that's it. And then, of course, off we went, we crossed the Pacific. So we know what that process looks like, and that will fast track us. So that's why we are kind of going that route for right now.
And while she's talking about that, I also feel like I should say, we are not buying a boat tomorrow. We are not rushing out to go and buy a boat just so we have a boat. We keep getting the comment just go buy a boat already.
What are you waiting on?
We have to love the boat. If there's anything we've learned over the past couple of years, is we need to love the boat. It needs to be the right boat. And we're not going to just buy something random just so we have a boat.
It's a huge investment in time, in money, and everything else. Boat ownership is no joke, no different than you don't just go buy a house. You want to make sure you buy a house in the right neighborhood and where you want to be and all those things.
And when you rock up in your dinghy and you're coming up to your boat, you want to look at it and go, that's my boat. I love that thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't she look great?
Right. You want to have some pride in the vessel. And so, we're not just going for any boat. We're looking for the right boat for us. And that's anybody's journey. Nobody just rushes out and just buys a boat. So we are working on it, but it is a process. And when the boat reveals itself, it will reveal itself. So
the next type of boat that we're looking at, we're ready to go into that, right?
I think, because I can't think of anything else on the whole explorer yacht front.
We are drawn 100% to the classic yachts. And when I'm saying classic, like we've been looking at some built in the 30s. We've even looked at a couple online that were like built in the early 1900s.
Which that's a
Be too old.
yeah. So the problem is it's a bit of one of those things where you're like, does the dream match the reality? The thing is, we haven't owned an Explorer yacht. We have not owned an old classic. So we don't know the realities of each of those. Now we've been talking to people that have, and that's sort of the intention. And that's what we've been doing in the background right now, is trying to do our research and trying to be very realistic with what we are getting ourselves into, no matter which direction we go. But we are so drawn to those vessels. But it would be a different type of cruising for us, and it would be definitely a different type of maintenance, whether we go with the steel hull or whether we go
with a wooden hull. Dun, dun, dun.
I know, which every time we mention that.
They were like, are we a glutton for punishment? Are we crazy?
Anybody looking at an old boat is glutton for punishment. But the problem is,
they look so beautiful. I feel like I'm definitely getting hit. I'm the ray of sunshine.
There we go.
There we go.
But old classic boats, those antique,
oh,
it's a piece of maritime history. And the ones that we are looking at right now, or we're headed to go look at right now, are exactly that. So, like, one was commissioned by the Coast Guard during World War II. There is another that was, well, we won't get into it. I don't want to spoil it, but they have a story. They have a history, they have a character.
Can feel really proud about owning that piece of maritime history and taking care of it as for whatever short period of time you might own that vessel. You just feel this responsibility for maintaining it and keeping it floating and looking beautiful. So that is the other path we're going. And she says it's a different type of cruising because we probably won't be able to move as fast or as far.
Because you don't want to beat a vessel like that up. So you're not looking, like the Explorer yacht, yes.
You
are looking to absolutely get beat up in that vessel, and it's built for it. You know, an older classic like that, you're going to baby it a bit more. We're going to choose our passages very carefully because we're not looking to torture the boat. We're looking to preserve it. So it is a different vibe. So drastically different categories, and which way we'll end up, we don't know. The thing is, with the classics that we're looking at, the price point is much lower. So that leaves us a lot
of room in the cruising kitty or in the bank. So then if the perfect Explorer yacht comes our way, we still have enough money to then buy that.
That's right.
While we transition selling the classic yacht, which I know.
Or maybe we keep it, but that would probably be a really terrible idea.
No, who knows?
Yeah. Anyway.
Probably not. So speaking of keeping it, let's talk about, a lot of people ask about the van.
Yeah.
Like, I thought you built this van. Where's the van? Blah, blah, blah. Well, the van is still going to be a part of our story no matter what. When we moved back to the US temporarily, we needed wheels and we needed a place to store our stuff. We don't have a home, we don't have a storage unit. All that stuff costs money. It's stuff that we don't have. So,
and even when we were liveaboards, like that was our struggle. We kept finding that every time we wanted to come back to North America, we had nowhere to go. And we felt like we were floating, and we always just needed a tiny base camp for here, for during the off season, or when you are sitting out a cyclone season or a winter or whatever the case may be. So we always had the intention of buying a van and having it for the in-between adventures. So it's a keeper.
It's a rolling storage unit, mobile office with a bed. It will not be our entire story, but it will be a part of our story, and it will continue to be a part of our story for the next unknowable amount of time.
Exactly. And so our thinking is, if we find a boat, say Pacific Northwest, Alaska, whatever the case may be, and we end up cruising that along and down towards Patagonia, cool, we can take the van right along on the journey and we can explore both land and sea. And that is pretty much the ideal situation.
We met a couple in Panama that did exactly that. So we know it's possible. It is a headache and a half.
And they had an old classic boat.
Wooden boat. No, it was a new boat that they built to look like an old boat, but it was wooden, and it was absolutely gorgeous.
It was beautiful. They were vernishing a lot. It was beautiful. We all kind of drooled over it all the time sitting in the anchorage. But anyway.
If we find a boat in like Norway or Amsterdam or somewhere over there, then it's also great because in the off season, in the season, we can cruise wherever up there, and then in the off season, put the boat up for a little bit, fly home. Like, you always need a break from the boat. That's one thing we have definitely learned over the years. You come back to the boat and you love it even more, even though it's work because you left it. It just makes you love it more.
Exactly. So there's that side of it, but also land exploration we love just as much as we do the sea. You don't want to be on the water all the time. The mountains are a calling too.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to do both. And we really have always wanted to kind of do the Central South America road trip. So that's, even if it takes us flipping forever in between all the boat adventures, that's still what we'd like to do. So we're kind of working both of those things at the same time while trying to boat shop. It's been a bit much going on in the background, but we feel like it's slowly taking shape. Like we've been finding more possible vessels that are more realistic, and yeah, we're getting a bit more excited about it. I guess it's feeling like it's closer, but until we find the right boat.
Of course, winter's coming up. So what are we going to buy a boat in the middle of winter?
I know.
Terrible idea. But it is what it is, right? So what's next for this channel? What's next for us? Okay, we've just left Uganda, and now we are head on into boat shopping. And the first one is just outside of Amsterdam. We found this cool little marina brokerage that has so many different types of boats. We've been looking at many. We stepped on many, and we have two that we're going to show. No, three.
Three technically.
Yeah, that we're going to show off.
Yeah, so we're going to show you those because we thought they were all pretty good possibility. Like they're still rolling around in the back of our minds, but we're not pulling the trigger on anything until we kind of get over to the other ones that we are really interested in that are in like the Pacific Northwest area. So, well, and I guess technically Canada, whatever.
It's all Pacific Northwest.
Pacific Northwest, whatever. So in that zone. So we've got boats that we're really interested in over there, and then we have the ones that we looked at in the Netherlands. So you're going to see those first because, well, we just filmed those.
And then we've got this amazing invite from one of our crew members who's invited us to fly into Alaska, and we're going to do a cruise with him on a trawler. He's owned 3 different explorer yachts, and he has got tons of information. We really want to push him on like how much is the maintenance? How much are you consuming in fuel? Because he keeps pretty good notes. And I think that's kind of that experience down from Alaska down towards Seattle is going to put a lot of information in our minds. And it's really going to be a good testing ground for us to see if expedition or explorer yacht will be right for us.
And motor vessel, really, because like we're coming from a sailing background, and trying to switch to a motor vessel is a bit of a mind shift. But the more that we learn, the more that we're like, you know, you think gas guzzling, terrible something, but the reality is it is not that. It is just a perception. So the numbers line up a lot more than we thought they would. And so we're really excited to dive a bit more into that and try to really solidify for ourselves whether it's really an option or not.
So that's what we'll do on the cruise down from Alaska. And then towards the end, we have 3 or so different vessels that we're going to go step foot on and investigate. And if they are great, then we will film and share them here.
And if they're really great, then we will end up putting in an offer and seeing what happens. So I don't know. So many possibilities. But anyway, we wanted to give you this update, fill you in on what's been going on behind the scenes, what our intentions are, and what you're going to see coming up. So that's kind of it. Oh, big part of the reason for sharing all this as well is...
Tell me.
You may know of a vessel. So
oh, yeah.
Exactly. You may be sitting on something you've been thinking about selling, or maybe you've got a buddy that is and they just don't have it listed on, say, like a Yacht World where we can discover it. So we're putting it out there because there are probably vessels that could be perfect that we just don't know about. So if so, please, please, please drop us a link down in the comment section below.
50 to 60-ish foot, 45 to 60-ish foot.
Yeah.
Under $1 million, definitely. Yeah. Not new.
Yeah. Anyway,
we're asking for a lot.
We're asking for a lot. Yes, we do. We do know. But anyway,
there is this saying that every boat is always for sale. It's just whether or not the owner is ready to part with it.
Or for the right price. Yeah. And I don't know that we meet either of those qualifications, but
if you know that guy, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So anyway,
that's it for us.
Yep.
That's our plans. Yep. We look forward to seeing you outside of Amsterdam next weekend.
Yep. See you for some boat shopping.
Bye, guys.